Viewers, a big update coming in on the temple attacks in Canada. We have now learned the Peel police has made 3 arrests, I beg your pardon, in connection with the Hindu temple attack in Brampton. Identity of the individuals are yet to be disclosed. There is no mention of violence by the cops. This is beyond human. And what we are now picking up is in the Canada attack case, they are simply calling it a protest, but only 3 people have been nabbed. The Khalistani mob seems to just be a protest. The Canada temple attack, 3 people have been arrested in Brampton. The identity of the individuals are yet to be disclosed. And let's show you how the Canadian police have been brutal. The brutality on the camera is caught. The Trudeau's cops are now assaulting the Hindus. The visuals on the screen are showing the aggression, the brutality and the inhuman behavior and the way in which the Canadian police are acting. Let me also tell you and show you pictures of how the Khalistani goons attacked the Hindu devotees, and nothing was done at that time. The police just called it a protest. And all these temple details coming in as 3 people only have been arrested. These are visuals that are showing the shocking behavior of the Khalistani goons. Let me show you a third picture where Canadian police pinch Hindu devotees. As you can see, the Canadian police officer who's been circled and how he has pinched the Hindu devotees. The Trudeau's cops are now also assaulting Hindus. It's a very, very, very clear diktat they seem to be following. There seems to be no end. The fourth visual, the Canadian police drag and detain the Hindu devotees. It's the Khalistani mob that needs to be arrested and questioned. The Canadian police is now detaining Hindu devotees, and Trudeau's cops are assaulting Hindus. The Canadian police have here detained the Hindu devotees. Shocking visuals coming from Brampton in Canada, and no answers coming in Surrey and Brampton from the Canadian police that is dragging, detaining, abusing, pinching, almost hitting out at the Hindu devotees. Let me go across to Arth, who's joining us live from the newsroom. Arth, what is the latest details you've picked up? What sort of action, if any, is the Canadian police taking? Has there been any statement from Justin Trudeau?
Yes, Rhythm, earlier we saw there was Justin Trudeau condemned this particular incident that happened in Brampton, that unfolded in Brampton. Furthermore, we just saw that the police arrested 3 individuals in association to this case, and these 3 identities, the identities of these individuals is yet to be revealed. And the Peel Regional Police also in their statement mentioned that investigation is going to continue. There is more to this investigation, and there are more details that are going to emerge as more incidents of violence are now being investigated and probed into. So it will be interesting to see, Rhythm, if there are more names that emerge, if there are more people who are arrested, and it will also be interesting to see if and when the Peel Regional Police reveal the identities of these very people, because we need to know who these people were involved in this particular attack, and that's about it from the newsroom, Rhythm.
In fact, viewers, now by attacking the Hindu temple, Khalistanis have confirmed they are only supporting Khalistan. And also Justin Trudeau, we are clearly being shown, instead of taking steps against the Khalistanis, his police is attacking and arresting Hindus. And this is very, very clear. It's shameless and heartbreaking also to see the way the Canadian terrorists, I would say, are attacking the helpless Hindus, the way they are being brutal to the Hindu devotees, and this is something that is shocking. Let me first go across and get you a reaction of a Hindu devotee.
वीडियो डाल रहा था वो तो कि पहले फाइटिंग हुई थी यहाँ पे, अंदर घुस गए थे और उसके बाद फिर ये तो बेटा डरा हुआ था। क्या हुआ था जब बेटे ने आपसे बात की? वो करना हमें एक्चुअली डराया पुलिस ने है। पुलिस ने डराया, पुलिस ने हमें डराया, पुलिस ने हमें मारा है। पुलिस ने, वो तो खालिस्तानी तो मार रहे थे, चलो वो तो सुना खालिस्तानी मार रहे, पर पुलिस हमें मार रहे थे।
हमें मारा, बहुत मारा। 2-3 पुलिस वाले थे, उन्होंने हमें लाठी से मारा।
पुलिस वालों ने
लाठी से हमें मारा। मेरे पास वीडियो है
जी।
पुलिस वालों ने हमें लाठी से मारा। वो हमें ऐसे ट्रीट कर रहे थे जैसे हम सेकंड क्लास सिटीजन हैं। बहुत गंदे से। इट्स बायस्ड पुलिस एवर इन कनाडा आई हैव सीन इन माय लाइफ। बायस्ड पुलिस, बहुत गंदे से हिंदुओं के साथ बिहेव किया
तो
गया।
वो जो खालिस्तानी जो अटैक कर रहे थे उनको कुछ नहीं बोला उन्होंने?
कुछ भी नहीं बोल रहे थे। हम बार और दूसरी बात, चलो आ भी गए वो लोग, हम बार बार उनको आराम से कह रहे थे कि आप लोग, पुलिस वालों को कह रही थी, आप लोग उनको बोलो कि चले जाए। वो बोलते नहीं, हम नहीं कह सकते। चलो नहीं कह सकते, मेरे पास वीडियो है कि उन्होंने हमें मारा है। वो सारे अभी यहाँ पर खड़े हैं, आप कुछ तो एक्शन लो। बोलते हम एक्शन नहीं, हम पहले तहकीकात करेंगे फिर एक्शन लें। ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है। आपके पास वीडियो है, लोग सामने खड़े, फिर भी वो लोग उन्हें अरेस्ट नहीं कर रहे थे। एंड तक अरेस्ट नहीं किया उन्होंने, क्योंकि वो पैसों वाले लोग थे। पैसों के लिए वो लोग प्रोटेस्ट करने आए थे। $50 वाले वो लोग थे। जब उनका टाइम खत्म हो गया, फिर वो चले गए, तब जाके हम लोग वापस आए। पूरे 4 घंटे हमें प्रोटेस्ट करना पड़ा।
It's a shocking and very clear anti-Hindu sentiment that we are seeing in Canada. The rise of this sentiment is deeply concerning, viewers, and we're also going to be condemning the hate speech and attack on the Hindu temples, the way that Hindu devotees spoke. And I'm going to quickly go across to my colleague Abhishek Kapoor also to get a sense. Abhishek, you were the first person to break this story. This is a community that needs to be protected. Hindus in Canada need to be protected, and also promoting religious tolerance. I think Justin Trudeau has forgotten exactly how a leader has to be. But Abhishek, not going to go into the rhetoric. We want to go into the facts. The anti-Hindu sentiment on the rise. No action being taken. In fact, the Canadian police being extremely brutal. What is your sense of how things are going to develop? Are there going to be real, tangible arrests against the Khalistanis in Trudeau's Canada?
Well, I don't think the 3 arrested belong to the Khalistani camp, and even if they are, the manner in which the Peel police has conducted itself, Justin Trudeau's police has conducted itself, is a clear case of, pro-Khalistan sentiment seeping into even the police establishment in Canada. And that's a serious situation, Rhythm, panning out, because what we saw yesterday was a clear case of a red line being crossed, where the Hindu temple was attacked, physically attacked. There was violation, there was a physical abuse, and we saw when this was happening, when Indian flag was being trampled upon, the police was just standing by for them. That was freedom of expression. And when there was a reaction, when an attempt was made to retrieve that Indian flag, when an attempt was made to throw out the Khalistanis who had come inside the temple and were vandalizing, that's when police gets into action and in fact controls the reaction and even targets those Hindu community members, pins them down on the ground, and you see retaliatory violence being carried out by police. I mean, there is a deep history of the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, having connections with the Khalistani elements, because of which till today the RCMP sits on the mystery of the IC-81, the Kanishka bombings case, and subsequently we have seen how things have really panned out. But I think this has to be taken up at the topmost levels, Rhythm. The kind of violence we have seen now. This is the same Justin Trudeau government which was saying that some criminal gangs in India are carrying out these acts of violence in Canada. But in the pictures that we have seen, it's the Khalistanis there who have indulged in intimidation and violence. And it's the Canadian police which has in fact not done anything about that violence and pinned the Hindu community down when it came to they trying to protect their temple from further vandalism. So this is not going to die down anytime soon, Rhythm. In fact, we are hearing that there are protests, counter-protests already being panned out. There is a massive demonstration that's happened at the same temple where the Hindu community had mobilized. Unfortunate, because it's actually not Hindu versus Sikh. It's actually Indians versus the Khalistanis. And hopefully, after this counter move, counter mobilization, it was being avoided. The Hindu community was not coming out in the streets and not letting these this issue really become a bone of contention between the larger diaspora. But now it has been forced upon on the community. So that is why we are seeing that reaction. We are yet to hear any substantive comment statement coming in from the Trudeau establishment, except for some very puerile, insincere condemnation. Because remember, Trudeau obviously now perhaps sees that while he has been pandering to a very minuscule minority of Khalistani sentiment, there is a larger diaspora there, and even that can cost him votes. So even for his vote bank politics, things really can go awry, and perhaps that's why that very insincere condemnation. But things need to go beyond that, and the Trudeau government needs to really show its commitment to actual law and order on the ground for the benefit of Canadians more than anything else.
In fact, Abhishek, the world at large saw a pro-Khalistani mob attack Hindus, and we also saw Justin Trudeau's police, the Peel Regional Police, do absolutely nothing. There was brutality by them. Like you said, we were just reading up. It seems that one of the people in the mob is also an off-duty Peel Regional Police officer. How is Trudeau going to try and show his empathies with the Hindus here, especially since we are seeing the selective silence on the Khalistani mob attack even now by Justin Trudeau?
Well, yes, Rhythm. So, as I was mentioning, that this act of police is actually evidence that even the police is compromised, that maybe there are people within the Canadian police at this level, district level, where they have been infiltrated by the Khalistanis, if not Khalistanis, at least the Khalistani sentiment, because it's clear, it can be seen that in the same moment, they are very soft on the Khalistanis, doing nothing when the violence happens, but when there is a counter move to protect the temple property, the police...
Yes. Go on, Abhishek. As Abhishek was telling us, I'm going to go back to him. Abhishek, this is also rhetoric, also from the Toronto MP, who says Canada is becoming a safe harbour for radicals. There's strong objection coming. Even Kevin Vyog, the Toronto MP, asserted Canada has become a safe harbour for radicals. They've asserted the country's leaders have failed to protect Hindus just like they failed to safeguard Christians and Jewish Canadians. There's also sharing the post on X. Alarming to see an attack on Hindu Canadians is what he has written. From Khalistani extremism to terrorist cosplayers, Canada has become a safe harbour for radicals. Our leaders are failing to safeguard the Hindus. Abhishek, if you can hear me, the Canadian Member of Parliament Chandra Arya has also condemned the violence in the Hindu temple. She said, and I believe this is true, a red line has been crossed by the Khalistani extremist, highlighting the brazen, violent extremism in Canada.
Well, I did not get the question properly. There was some audio issue there, but we are continuing to discuss this. And as I was mentioning, that there is a case of the police also being compromised. Maybe they are getting their cues from the topmost levels, because if Justin Trudeau, the position that he has taken, essentially letting his hate for India or his compromise with the Khalistanis really blindside his position on the larger India-Canada relationship, and to compromise that. I think the cops on the ground are taking their cues from them, from that messaging, and hence not acting when the Khalistanis attack the temple, but act immediately and carry out that brutality, as can be seen in the pictures, against the Hindu community. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Rhythm, it's not going to stop at, or should not stop at, a puerile condemnation that we have seen from the Canadian Prime Minister. It's unlikely that he can walk back from the precipice that he has taken India-Canada relationship. But if at all, then this is the opportunity, this is the trigger where he can start walking back and maybe mend fences with the country and with a larger diaspora, yes, and understand the risks of indulging with lawlessness any further.
I absolutely agree. In fact, I think, Abhishek, the Prime Minister in Canada, Justin Trudeau, is actually puerile. Viewers, we're going to thank Abhishek for this. We're going to wait for other updates coming from Canada. The other top focus also breaking right here on Republic TV. Breaking news.